Hey, Philip, welcome. Yeah, well, the benefits do come with some consequences of that is for sure. Hey, David, welcome. Yeah, no, I certainly get it. I mean, the aesthetics are a big part of the game. Just one of those things where, at the end of the day, the benefits for the gameplay surrounding the extra abilities you get, they do, you know, far outweigh the aesthetic consequences, but that's just my opinion. You know, I certainly agree that everybody's going to have their own opinions about what that looks like and how it goes, and, you know, everybody gets to make their own decisions. That's one of the great things about the game. Yeah, on that first playthrough, you tend to indulge in some luxuries. After a while, you'll get past it, and once you get to honor mode, you almost don't have a choice. The fly ability is way too useful. Yeah, David, I mean, it really is, especially when you get into some of the boss fights in Act 3. Being able to fly is immensely powerful. Yeah, fly is a free action. Doesn't cost you a spell slot or a usage of a charge or anything like that, like off the Disintegrating Nightwalkers. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the astral tadpole powers are very, very useful. I mean, free cast can be amazing for your very, very high level spells. Being able to cast 2 6-level spells instead of just 1 can be a massive benefit. Fly, obviously, it consumes your movement speed, but it's not an action or bonus action. And like I say, that movement speed, being able to move anywhere you want vertically, especially in like Orin's fight and things like that, is incredibly useful. Black hole, obviously very, very useful for bringing a bunch of enemies together into one spot to be able to be nuked by destructive wrath or fireball and that sort of stuff. Yeah, I mean, extraordinarily useful. Yeah, Philip, it's actually pretty easy to get no free lunch. If you're kind of approaching it using darkness and moving your characters around independently outside of combat before entering combat, it really makes it easy to make sure. And that's the other reason that I placed either my Paladin or my Bard over on the left side of the encounter, because the Necromites up top, if I don't kill them, and they do decide to jump down, they have to sit there for a turn before they're absorbed. So I can have another opportunity with multiple attacks to be able to kill them using either my Paladin or my Bard over there. So it's always a good spot to take them on and leave them over there just in case something gets through. But yeah, it's a fairly straightforward way of getting the achievement. And the Apostle not being immune to darkness, it's just, I mean, like I say, just like a lot of things. The honor mode playthrough that we're going to start on Wednesday is going to have, and I'm not sorry to say, that the tieflings are not going to make it. the tieflings in Dammon are not going to make it, because I'm going to get Char's Spear of the Evening again. Being able to unlimited cast darkness with no spell slot usage or anything like that is just, it's so incredibly useful in honor mode. There's so many things even in honor mode that are not immune to the darkness spell. And a bunch of the key in honor mode is avoiding damage. It's not just things that you guys are learning from me so well with action economy and positioning of your characters and how to enter and exit from combat and that sort of stuff. That is fairly straightforward. But being able to avoid damage and the negative effects that go with that associated damage is heightened quite a bit in honor mode. So being able to avoid certain legendary actions because those legendary actions can't target you inside of darkness, and all sorts of stuff like that, just like I say, just make it it makes things a lot easier in a bunch of different encounters. David, no, I am not. I am going to, however, and this is something we'll talk about more when we get into it, you're going to see me use a bunch of unintended mechanics. I'm not going to use exploits, like, you know, the vendor glitches and that sort of stuff. But I'm going to use a bunch of unintended consequences for some of the encounters. Also, remember, until you enter the Shadowfell, you can freely go back and forth between all of Act 1 and Act 2 to any location. So you don't have to go do the Ethel fight before you go to, say, the Underdark, or you go to the Mountain Pass, or you go anywhere in Act 2. You can come back and do Ethel when you're level 9. And that's what we're going to be doing, is we're going to be making liberal use of the respecking mechanic. We are going to make liberal use of our travel into other locations to level ourselves up using random, or not random encounters, but the set encounters that are not boss encounters. And then coming back and finishing off the boss encounters at our leisure when we feel that we are high enough level to be able to deal with them. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode 33 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Paladin gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, on some admin notes, the big news this week was that Wednesday, Larian released Hotfix 23. Hotfix 23 was really focused around the vendor system to try and eliminate a bunch of the exploits that were happening with buying and selling items from vendors. And they did a pretty good job of eliminating a bunch of those. There is still at least one that still works. So I'm sure we're going to get another hotfix next week, probably, to address that. But there was a lot of things about the user interaction with the trade and barter menus or screens that were changed. They did do a few glitches and bug fixes. They said that they fixed the whole club automatically equipping thing. They said in the patch notes, or the hotfix notes, that it was only clubs from Moonrise Towers that were doing that. I'm not entirely sure that was true from my personal playthroughs. But we'll kind of check it and see as we go here and see if clubs are still auto-equipping. They did do some other things with movement and that sort of stuff, specifically with the Spore Servant Bullet and that sort of stuff, being able to move him around. He would very often glitch into the floor. So it is full of some things that are going to correct issues, but it's also really meant to deal with the Trader UI exploits. So feel free to take a look at those patch notes, get the game downloaded and updated, so that you can make sure you've got all of the bug fixes taken care of that they looked at, and go from there. So the second admin note is about Wednesday evening, and I'm going to put up a community post tomorrow about it. Wednesday evenings live streams are coming back this week, and they will start with a new honor mode playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3. I'm going to cancel my existing honor mode playthrough, and I am going to start up a new honor mode playthrough that is closer in timeline to where this new one on the live stream is going to start. The current honor mode playthrough I have kind of started before a few other fixes and changes happened, and them adding more legendary encounters and that sort of stuff. So I want to make sure that I'm ready for those. So I just can't have 7 playthroughs going at the same time. So I'm going to cancel it out. I'm going to start a new private honor mode playthrough that just kind of gets ahead a little bit, so I can be better prepared for what I'm going to be showing on the live streams. But yeah, I expect that that's going to be fun to watch. So you'll be able to see kind of how honor mode works. But then also, if I do fail somewhere in honor mode, I'm not going to stress about it too much, because the main reason I'm playing this is to show off the legendary actions. You cannot get legendary actions through any other type of playthrough except honor mode. You cannot set them in a custom mode playthrough. So even if I fail in the honor mode playthrough and it continues as a custom mode quote-unquote playthrough that has legendary actions still in it, that's perfectly fine. I'm not too worried about whether I make it all the way through or not. The golden dice aren't really something that I'm trying to show off to anybody or anything like that. But we'll do our best as we go through it, and we'll see how well it goes. I am going to be showing off a new class. I'm going to be showcasing the monk class. That will not be my main character. That will be a respec of an origin character, which we will go into more detail about during the stream. Just because in endgame there's something that can happen that best suits that origin character, being a monk. So I'm going to take advantage of that as we get down to that point much later on. So I think it ought to be fun for everybody to watch. So come along and join us on Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. That is GMT -5 right now. If not, the VOD will be up immediately after with chapter markers, so feel free to take a look at it. So I think that takes care of our admin notes. Last admin note, again, I still have a come and go cough because of my allergies that are going on right now. So if I mute my mic to cough, I apologize. If I don't come back, just drop a comment, let me know I'm still muted, and I'll make sure I get it taken care of. So on our recap, at the end of last week's episode, we finished up all of the what I call interact drama. Mainly, we finished up dealing with the astral plane and learning who our dream visitor was and how all that plays into the story. And we ventured into Rivington just to do two things. One was to talk to an NPC right at the start that you're going to have to talk to. You can't even walk into Rivington without talking to her. And then we went over and met with Ferg. And because Shadowheart has sided with Shar, we were able to talk to him, not have him run away from us, and got free access to his stash, or his secret stash of equipment. And that's where we're going to jump right back in here today. Hey, Lord Henry, welcome. Thanks for being here. Okay, so here we are at Ferg. We had talked about Ferg previously and showed his inventory. We had...
Welcome. You see to peruse the special goods, I take it.
We had taken his approval all the way up and then used a little bit of the stock inventory of backed up weapons and armor that we had to get all of our gold back after we donated to him and after we bought out all of his important equipment that we wanted to keep around. This is going to be something that continues to happen throughout Act 3 here. So being able to sell all of this stuff is going to become more and more important, especially as we get into the city. There are a couple of more vendors here in Rivington to deal with, but the items are less important-ish as we go, so we'll kind of cross those bridges when we come to it. There are some other things in here to always keep an eye out for when you're looking at his, because remember, his inventory is going to reset after a long rest. And just to clarify, you do not have to spend camp supplies to take a long rest. You can take a partial rest, which is not going to necessarily restore your spell slots and that sort of stuff. But it counts as a long rest, and it will refresh these inventories. So if you just want to save, go to camp, take a partial rest, don't spend any camp supplies, come back here, you will find that his inventory is refreshed. And you can do that over and over and over again. And you are going to see a little bit of that in the honor mode playthrough as we try and stock up on some potions at the start. But there's nothing else in here that we want to purchase from Ferg. So now we can take an opportunity and just talk to a couple of the people that are standing here.
Waldarians, stand with me against this tide that threatens to overwhelm us.
Please just go home. You're ruining a perfectly uneventful posting with this nonsense.
The Flaming Fists are supposed to protect this good city, but they allow trash and vermin to take our homes and goods. Ah, another visitor, I see. Listen, we keep letting the likes of you in, soon there'll be no room left for any of us true Baldarians. Another bleeding heart. Piss off and take it elsewhere.
Gods. Not another protester. Go talk to Nestor if you must. I've got plenty on my plate with these mewling geese.
Okay, so obviously some members of Baldur's Gate are not entirely happy with letting in all of the refugees who were kind of clustered up here in Rivington. We are going to head back toward where we came in and deal with an encounter here.
Very well.
of a wife and kid, are you?
I should speak up.
The place was empty. Keep those thugs away from my family.
Danuvia! Get these spotters out of my house now!
Arthur, sweetheart, you paid me and my boys to be caravan guards, not cattle wranglers. If you want us to get our hands dirty, it'd be our pleasure. But that'll be extra.
I don't see why I should be explaining myself. It's my property. They are on it, unlawfully.
Look, we needed somewhere to live. This place was empty and it had walls. I've got children for tears' sake. It gets cold out there at night, Mr. Gregorio. My kids will get sick. Please, we'll stay out of your way. We just need a roof.
This is my home. I may pride myself on my philanthropy, but I draw the line at being a halfway house.
This man's indignant demeanor barely masks a seething anxiety. There's more to this situation than he's letting on.
Look, time is money, and I'm losing both just standing here. Make your call, judge, before Zenobia makes it for you. But wouldn't you be on edge if your beautiful home had been defiled by such brazen interlopers?
So you do have some options here, and there are two things to worry about during this scenario. The first is who's going to have possession of the house. The second is what happens with Zenobia afterward. Either of these two options here are going to side with Arthur and remove the refugees from the house. However, Zenobia is going to be a little bit upset about that because she already made an offer to get paid to do that. And if we're going to cut them out of the deal by doing it cheaper, we're going to have to deal with her afterward. The other option is to try and side with the refugees and let them live in the house. Now, either way this goes, we're going to have to deal with Arthur a little bit more after this. And because I know what the outcome of that is going to be, I'm going to side with the refugees here. We have a 20 DC on this check. We've got 5 from charisma, but we do have intimidation proficiency. We can add in a bunch of different options here. I'm just going to add in guidance. And now we're at the minimum a 50-50 shot here. And we just got it.
Fine. They can stay. Just don't blame me when they turn on you like the mongrels they are.
I respect your hustle, sweetheart, but it won't work on me. You've stepped on the guild's toes, and we'd like a little something to make it better.
The Guild, a loose coalition unifying every criminal outfit in the city under one collective rule, from cut purses to contract killers.
Just a little something. Consider it a gesture of goodwill.
So, just like the other two encounters, now that they have been intimidated into staying, The guild has again missed out on its chance to evict them and get some money. So they either want us to pay them off, or we can not.
Oh, you know, it's shocking how many people opt for the hard way when the easy way is right there. Any last words?
And here we have another intimidation option. We can go ahead and do a melee attack here and start this off, or we can try another intimidation option. This one's much lower for us, so we can only fail on a nat 1 here.
You're serious? Let's forget this unpleasantness ever happened. Come on, boys. We've got places to be.
Okay, and you still get XP for resolving it that way. So don't think that you're going to miss out on the XP from combat. You're still going to get the XP for it. Okay. Now we do have Speak with Animals here. We're going to go over here.
Do try the grass, should it take your fancy. Such sweetness should be shared.
Okay. So now out here, we've got a couple of options on what we want to do here. And for us, since we sided with the refugees here now,
At least we'll have some peace now.
Peace? What peace?
it's going to make things a little harder for now in that everything is going to be marked as steel. But it's going to be marked as steel regardless whether Arthur's here or whether the refugees are here.
Not quite sure why you stood up for us like that, but I won't say I'm not grateful. Thanks. And may Torm keep you. Same way lots of us did. Trying to get away from the army of the Absolute. If you had the chance to put a roof over your family's heads after being on the run for Torm knows how long, wouldn't you? We will stay. For now. I just hope he doesn't pay anyone else to come sniffing round. Thank you. And may Torm keep you. You're the first person in this city to have our backs. Thank you. Really.
Now, normally I wouldn't encourage
I was sure we were about to be evicted.
I don't think the children
squatting in this place, but again, I know the outcome
Still decent
here.
folk about.
So I'm going to head in here. And again, we get a perception check on this hatch down here. Okay, and in here, these things are not marked as steel. And again, just like previously, I'm going to take everything that's not locked down that might be worth something.
What's inside?
And again, nothing special about these books or anything like that. Okay, but I'm not going to go to the hatch yet.
Thank the gods. I was sure we
Going to head upstairs.
I don't think the children could cope with
Okay, and again, we have things that are not marked as steel up here. And we have some shelves here. Now, normally I don't search shelves. But there are some crafting supplies up here. Or camp supplies, I mean. And then we have some double doors here. Now, Astarion. Can put his thieving equipment on.
Hardly a challenge.
Actually, we don't have to.
All's well that ends not as bad as it could have.
And honestly, I can't remember.
Moving ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to come in here, and again, all of this is marked as steel.
Here we go.
I don't think I need to be hidden when I'm in this room. That's an interesting detection cone from something. Oh, okay, so the child saw me. I didn't even see the child in there. Or was he in the corner or something?
I don't need any attention.
Oh, he might have been sitting on the chair or something. Oops.
What do we have here?
Gonna make it things a little bit harder to do. Yeah, he's still sitting here. Okay. Let's go, because honestly, I can't remember. Yeah, it's in. Can't remember where exactly this is.
Within its walls than without, Martha. At least here we stand a chance.
Let's have a look.
Tempers are rising.
Okay. So, I'm just going to go lockpick the door instead. That'll make it easier. There's a key down here that unlocks this door up here. But with them wandering around all over the place, it's going to make it way too difficult to manage it without interference from them. So I'm just going to lockpick my way in here.
Still alive, so that's progress. Need to find a way forward.
And once you're in here again, you can take whatever you'd like out of here. So there's a letter here that talks about Madame Amira at Sharessa's Caress and how Arthur had a problem there last time, and he probably won't be going back.
She'll be all right. She's a brave girl. We'll get through this.
She's not brave, Ben. She's just learned to stay silent to avoid causing trouble.
There are more camp supplies just sitting around here. And here's the toy maker's basement key. So again, there's a key downstairs to get you into this room. Then there's a key here, and this is going to work in the hatch that we discovered downstairs. Okay, and there are going to be some good camp clothes around here. So don't forget to pick them up, because your look is going to be substantially upgraded over the over the destitute clothes and that sort of stuff that you've been wearing. So we're going to go down here to the hatch. Okay, and this is going to take us into the basement, and you're immediately going to be greeted with perception checks. Okay. Now, there are these rigged fireworks everywhere. Okay. These are all rigged up to be triggered by these tripwires that are down here. So you want to make your way around, and you can do two things. First is finding the tripwires and disarming them. But second is passing the perception checks on all the rigged fireworks.
Well, hello.
And you'll see why that is here in a second. So we're going to go around with Shadowheart, and we're just going to walk around slowly.
Looks like a trap there.
Okay, and she's getting perception passes and fails. Didn't mean to pick up the broom. As she moves around.
Trap.
Okay. So now I'm going to cast Blessing or Guidance on Astarion. And have him do the same thing.
Oh dear. Someone's left a trap out for us.
Okay. So now we'll have a few turns of guidance left. I'm going to go around disarming these two tripwires. That's going to be a big number. I think it's the first time seeing a 35. Okay, and then while I've got a few turns of guidance left, I'm just going to keep moving slowly through here.
Tread carefully.
Okay, so now we'll go with Shadowheart again. And have her walk through the opened path here. Okay.
Have to keep pushing. Trap.
And we're going to do the same thing and try and find as many of the traps down here as we can find. We might not find them all, but the ultimate goal is to at least find all the tripwires. Okay, so there's that tripwire.
Step carefully. There's a trap. Best be on my way. Trap. Be cautious.
Okay, and there's the last tripwire that we needed to find. So now, just to make this easier, I'll equip the silver pendant as well.
What am I to do? On I go. Trap.
Stopped me yet. Time to press ahead.
Okay, and the last thing that I'm going to do here. Okay, so I don't have it with me. Let me see if I have it in my traveler's chest here. Okay. Either one of these is going to work. Where's Shadowheart? So Gale should have that equipped now. Yes, he does. Now we'll do one last pass with Gale. Okay. All right, so we're going to take
All right. What now?
everybody back up out of here.
There is work to do.
I was sure.
Not a problem.
Aye. Better be careful not to trigger that thing.
And honestly, I can't remember if there are traps here or tripwires here or not. I don't think that there are. But what we're going to do is just quickly go around and pick up as many of the rigged fireworks as we can, and I'll kind of show you why. So, click to disarm. It's a DC 10, so the only way we're going to be able to fail this is with double nat ones. Oh, wow. Okay, that is the ultimate jinx right there. That is as good as a jinx gets. Oh, wow. I can't believe that happened. And you can left click with a mouse to quicken the roll, so you don't have to sit there and wait for it. And you see that you picked up a woglin. Now, the woglins are worth a decent amount of gold, and that's why you're going around and picking them up. Is that you can go sell them. 36, nice. For a decent amount of gold. However, you can also use them as a weapon, because if you look at them, they do 3d6 fire damage, and they inflict color spray on the target. So that target's going to have disadvantage on attack rolls, and range of attacks and spells are reduced to only 3 meters. Okay. They also become blinded, so attack rolls against them are going to have advantage. So you can use these as a fairly decent ranged attack weapon, if you would like. I tend not to do that. I don't normally have a need for it, but as a ranged version of color spray, they're actually pretty nice, because color spray is normally a melee range based spell. But it shouldn't take you too long to go through here. To run these, so we'll just do that quickly. And I think there's a total, I'd have to go back to my notes. I think there's a total of 18 of these down here. So if you have a vendor that you've upped their approval with, you can sell these for quite a bit. I think it ends up something like another 400 gold or something like that you can get from selling all of these. Oh, I think I know what my perception check did not pass. But you can see with all of them down here, if you do trigger a tripwire, things can get fairly nasty pretty quick. Just because of the proliferation of them down here. Okay, so I think that's all the ones that we discovered, and we came up with 19. So I think there's 20 down here, actually. So you can now go through and do some searching down here. There are some crates that you can take a look at. Didn't need to do that. The box of fireworks is another one of those really good barrelmancy type of things that you can pick up and use to sit around somebody and trigger them and blow them up. And the reason I'm down here with Astarion now is because if I did miss a tripwire or something like that, he has the best chance of surviving this. Okay, so we're going to make our way around here. We're going to trigger guidance again. I think our perception check. Okay. Came up one short on that perception check. And I'm pretty sure I know what that is.
I'll go this way.
And this check isn't nearly as hard to make. Oh, jeez. Come on.
Moving in.
What a day.
My faith will guide me.
Can't give up now. Beware.
Okay.
This place
Yeah,
is trapped.
that's the trap chest that I was looking to find.
Easy.
Okay, so a little bit higher here. Still not too worried about it with Astarion, though. Okay, so let's continue looking around here with Astarion. Okay. Just about done here. Okay. So now we're going to take a look at the desk and this chest here. So on the table here is an unfinished toy, and there's instructions for donation here. Gifts for refugees only, please distribute. Okay, so he was making toys and sending them for the refugees. And here there's a letter. Okay, so Arthur, a package is still waiting for you at Philogier's. You better not be late again. Pick it up, put it in the teddy bears, make the donation. It couldn't be simpler, really. If it's still here this time tomorrow, we'll stuff you with it. Okay, so somebody is blackmailing him.
Looks like his generosity's compromised.
Okay, and that gives us the Investigate Suspicious Toys quest. Okay, so here we found a blackmail letter. Something dangerous has been placed inside toys donated to the refugees. We should find them, and quickly.
With haste.
Okay, so we're going to head back upstairs.
Think about it. They're stuck here with no coin and nothing to do.
And head out the front. Now, if we look at our map here, actually, we don't have it marked on our map. But down here, okay, is a warehouse of sorts with a blackboard out front.
Attention, donations desperately needed for refugees. Every copper helps.
Okay, so this is the donation point, it looks like, for the refugees.
Donations?
Okay, now you can trade with man up here. Doesn't look like he has anything. So if we go over here and interact with the door, we're going to get an interaction.
You, turn around and toddle your way right back out of here. Everything in this barn has been donated for the refugees, not you. Now piss off. Food, sundries, toys even. What would you expect for people who've lost everything? Now are you going to clear off or not?
Okay, this is going to give you a persuasion option here, which is related to the quest. It's a fairly straightforward DC.
I'm gonna let you through because I don't want to take any risks. But you better not be lying.
Okay, so now we have access to the distribution center here, and now you can see that we have a quest marker over here. Okay, so this is inside the Requisition barn. So who has, Shadowheart. We're going to go over here and we're going to talk to the pig.
We're going to check it out. What? I say, terribly decent of you to come over and exchange pleasantries. Oh, folk come, folk go. It's a little dull, to be frank. The room next door has rather reeked of late, though. And that's coming from me.
What's
Hey.
next, I wonder?
And where's Gale? Okay. Thank you for joining us, Gale. Appreciate it. So now, like I say, we have complete access to the inside here
Just check for
of the
anything
Requisition barn. And there are going to be a load of camp supplies in here. And I don't feel bad in the slightest by taking any of these things. There's going to be a lot of clothing in here as well. And like I say, if you want to start upping your fit a little bit, this is the place to do it. So I'll just pick everything up that I find and I'll send it to the camp later. Okay. Alright, so head back downstairs, and I'm kind of doing this systematically, kind of working counterclockwise around this place. And this is a very important spot to be in for your honor mode playthrough because of the amount of camp supplies that are in here. Camp supplies are so much harder to come by, or so much more needed in honor mode because of needing 80 camp supplies per long rest instead of 40. Hey, Em. Hey, Phenom, welcome. Sorry, didn't see you when you came in. Okay, and now that we're here, actually one last spot here. Okay, we're gonna break our group.
I have a lot on my mind and, well, in it.
Okay.
My step.
I don't believe we have anybody with good investigation. Oh, Gale should have it. Yeah, it's Gale.
Can't afford to stay out.
Forgot that I had Gale with us.
Seek and you shall find me. Traps there.
Okay.
I have a feeling
We have a trap on that crate there. And that updates the investigate
You
the
were
suspicious toys quest.
Explosives. Now give me some room. I need to make sure the rest of these donations are safe. You try and find whoever is responsible for this.
Okay. So
Long way to go still.
now that we've found the explosives, we can continue on with our searching here. Just be careful not to click on that crate.
Toys trapped to injure children. It's abominable.
Who would do such a thing? I thought this assignment was going to be dark. No such much luck.
Okay, so you can see a bunch of camp supplies around here. Now this chest, the donations chest, is going to be marked as steel.
Better take a look.
These should be the last two that we'll search. Then we'll have Astarion come up here and disarm this crate. This is a high DC.
I thought this assignment was going to be dull. No such. To injured children.
And now we can search it. And there are surprise-based teddy bears in here. Reason to loot these, again, a substantial amount of gold here that they can be sold for.
No time to rest.
Okay, so now we're finished in here. And we should try and find Arthur at Sharess's Caress. Okay? That's going to be the conclusion of this quest line. However, we don't necessarily need to do that now. Just a little backstory about what's happening here. Rivington has refugees all throughout it, and the refugees are not being allowed to pass into the city of Baldur's Gate itself. So if we try and just pass through into the city, we're going to be denied the entry. So that you're trying to find a way to get into the city itself. This quest line here is part of that and helps us do that. But we don't necessarily need to get there now. There's still plenty of other things for us to do here in Rivington. So we're going to put that one on hold a little bit and continue on. And the first thing down here, we should recognize Mattis and Murkon. Hey Nicholas, welcome. So we'll go down and talk to Mattis.
Pardon if my eyes are all saucer-like. I didn't realize Baldur's Gate was so big. Dangerous? Oh, it's a gold mine. So many pockets to pick. Wait, I know you. You're the reason some of us got here in one piece. Thanks. And you're in luck, because we're having a special sale on some of the choice items I picked up on our way here. Fancy stuff. Want to see? Don't be a goose. They couldn't be. Bloody flaming fists are guarding that barn like it was a bank. But even if they were liberated from the barn, all profits go to the refugees anyway. So it's legit, right?
Yeah, hard to argue with his logic.
Would I try to fool a Sharpie like you? Have a look.
Okay, so inside of Mattis's inventory this time are, again, a selection of potions here. And one of the ones that you definitely want to focus on is the Elixir of Cloud Giant Strength. This increases your strength to 27 and it lasts until long rest. Now Mattis here is one of the very rare places to pick up this potion. I don't necessarily need it as much because I don't have a build that focuses on strength. Shadowheart is the only strength-based character that I have right now. And that's really just so she can hit a little bit more often with Char's spear, but I don't really focus on her making melee damage with that spear as why she's around. However, in the Wednesday playthrough, the elixirs of Hill Giant Strength, which raise your strength to 21, and the elixirs of Cloud Giant Strength, raising it to 27, are going to be incredibly important. And that's because of how I'm going to build out the monk that's going to be in our party. So take note that Mattis here is a reliable source of these. And again, you can buy it. Take a long rest. Do not use any camp supplies. Take a partial rest. Come back here to Mattis, and this potion will reappear, and you can buy it again. Right? Now, they are expensive. They're 256 gold apiece, compared to the Hill Giant Strength, which I think are 80 gold apiece, or something like that. So these are the ones that you save for the boss encounters and that sort of stuff that you're going to be doing. But this is a good, reliable place to get them in your playthrough. Mattis has 2 items here to look at. Hey, Ostamura, welcome. The first is the Scrabby Pugilist Circlet. Your weapon and unarmed attacks deal an additional 2 damage while surrounded by 2 or more foes. Okay, so a headband that's going to give additional damage to unarmed attacks when you've got more than 1 enemy near you. Can be very useful in situations where, again, as a monk, you are fighting in amongst a group of people. You can add an additional flat 2 damage to all of your attacks using a headband, which it's fairly rare to get damage bonuses from. He also has the Corvid token. So while wearing the amulet, the wearer's jump and flying speed increases by 1.5 meters. So the distance that you're able to fly, if you have the ability to fly, is going to be increased by 1.5 meters, and you gain the Featherfall condition, so that if you jump, you can jump farther and not take damage when you land. Featherfall's effect will persist while the wearer is polymorphed or wild-shaped. Okay? So you can get Featherfall even if you are not in your normal shape. It also comes with a class action of polymorph into a Dire Raven. Dire Ravens can fly. They also have the ability to blind their enemies with an attack. It has 13 hit points, so it doesn't survive long, but being able to distract and possibly blind targets by using this is a good thing. And also remember, if you're polymorphed into a Dire Raven and you take a hit that would do 70 damage to you, all it's going to do is remove the Dire Raven shape. You're not going to take any damage. So it can be a very useful thing to avoid damage if you know you're going to get hit by something that you don't want to get hit by. To polymorph into it and take the hit that way to give you another turn to be able to find another way out of the situation you're in. So both of these can be very useful. They're not going to be very useful for me. The Scrabby Pugilist Circlet isn't going to be very useful for me on this playthrough, but it will be useful in the honor mode playthrough I'm going to do. The Corvid token is, like I say, very useful to have just for navigating around. So I'm going to pick it up. And then I'm going to drop off a bunch of this stuff quickly, just to make this back. Actually, I won't do that. I'm going to escape out of this.
Chests.
I'm going to go back up here to Ferg, since his attitude is already up, and I'm going to sell these items to him to get that gold back.
Welcome. You see to peruse the special goods, I take it.
And like I say, I'm going to keep the clothing that I've got. Some of it I'm not going to keep. I don't need to keep destitute clothes, because we are definitely going to take a look at our fit after this. And you can see how much gold we're getting compared to what we would have been getting previously. So the destitute clothes, not worried about. The rags, the road dusty, the scruffy vagabond, that can all go. The snugglesome, I'm not worried about either. And I don't need the swarthy wayfarer. Okay.
Don't make trouble.
Trade secrets. But I can guarantee you that nothing I have to offer was stolen. It was all given happily and willingly. Every last item.
Okay, so now while we're here, let's just take a look at some of what we're wearing. So, whoops. So we can change up some of how we look here to different outfits. And like I say, the outfits are now getting quite a bit better in quality over what we had previously. Actually kind of like that one for Gale. So for boots, okay. And now we're going to take the rest of these things and, oh, yeah, did forget about that. Because even I haven't even seen this one, to be honest. I didn't loot this in my personal playthrough. Oh, okay. I like this one better. So we will take all of these clothes and send them to our camp so that we can outfit other people in our camp and get our carry weight back down.
What to do?
I'm ready. Whatever it takes.
At the ready.
And that goes there. This goes over to me, and now I can change all of these back. To showing our armor, and we're going to put the Shield of Devotion back on, and we'll keep the Perception Shield around for usage later. So the Pious Perceptions on Astarion and Shadowheart. So we'll have them carry it around. And the last thing that I'm going to do is sell off the Woglums.
Welcome. You see to peruse the special goods, I take it.
Forgot about those. So yeah, 437 gold out of those. So that's the reason that you go through and disarm them. Just so you can pick them up and really sell them. But feel free to keep them and use them if you'd like. So now we have a couple of different areas to go looking around here. And let's kind of start doing this systematically. So I'm going to head back toward the Rivington waypoint up here.
What path lies before me?
Okay, so here's where I came in.
There now. You can see the city up on the hill.
And again, looking for people that you can talk to around here.
Turn back, citizen. No passage in this direction. It's bloodier than a butcher's backyard out there. Piles of dead absolutists, and a few of our own as well. The cultists assaulted the gate, armed to the teeth trying to break in. They nearly had it too, before the Steel Watch intervened. A little more than that. You'll see for yourself soon enough if you head to the city.
Okay, so there isn't going to be any way for us to get out here past the gate, but you can see the remnants of what happened here.
Nearly there now. You can see the city up on the hill.
That's why we need to walk just a little more.
So out here you can see that they did make an assault on the gate here. A battering ram that's broken and all sorts of stuff like that. Okay, and there is a heavy chest over here.
All right, time to skulk about.
I don't know. I actually haven't done this. Okay. So yeah, you can take from these without a problem, as long as you're not being seen.
If not over, then through.
You can see the city up on the hill.
So now we have this little area up here.
That's why we need to walk just a little more. One foot in front of the other.
Maybe I need more pockets.
And we do want to have Starian going around with that on, just in case we do run up on something and miss it.
How much farther can I go?
Okay, so we had a survival check. But I'm not entirely sure where it was. There it is. Autos. Nice. I love that spell.
Need to keep going. Down ox again. I feel stalked.
Okay, so here's the strange ox that we ran into previously.
No, incapable. Not for you to know.
Okay, we do have a persuasion option here. Oh boy, trying to fail it.
Well, come close. Your mind to mine. quiet, and you won't have to find out. Good little hero. Though, perhaps your better nature would extend a little further for little old me. I need to get into the city, but it's hard to shuffle your way to the front of the queue when you're, well, big as an ox. But what if I was smaller, more discreet? Maybe then a kind soul might bring me through, right in their little pocket. Ooh. This day has ended so much better than it started. Now, you don't worry about me. I'll be a good, quiet little apple you can tuck into the corner of your pack, just until we're inside the city walls. Hail, Cyric! I can't wait to get inside.
Okay, so we're starting to learn a little bit more about this, but it's still a bit of a mystery, and you can see that he's turned into a strange apple, so we're going to pick that up.
That's curious.
So Cyric is the Faerun god of lies and trickery. He's like Loki, so to speak. He's just a lot more violent and less happy-go-lucky because he was previously the god of tyranny and murder, in addition to those domains that he has now. But those two were taken over by two of the dead three that were given those domains as part of their deal with the other gods. So he's now he doesn't have tyranny and murder anymore, but you still have a lot of worshippers that are bound to him. And we're going to learn more about the strange ox as we go. This is not the last time that we are going to deal with him. Now, we dealt with him in Act 1. We again dealt with him in Act 2. Now we are here again in Act 3, finding him again. So just know that his mystery is quickly coming to an end. We just haven't seen it all yet. Okay, so now we're going to head back down this way, and we're going to head around the back of the Requisition barn. And again, you can talk to various people that are out here that are named.
Lord on the rack, give me patience. These protesters keep harassing the refugees. It's horrid. I just hope the Ilmater Temple opens up aid again soon. We need their help here.
Okay, so they're talking about...
Don't pay me any mind now. I'm just trying to make sure everyone gets fed.
So they're talking about a temple to Ilmater that has been closed down and is not offering aid anymore. And we're going to learn a little bit more about that as we go here.
I'm busy. Mind your own.
Okay, so a lot of the people aren't going to be very welcoming. But that's somewhat understandable with the situation that everybody's in here.
Heads will roll for this transgression, this injustice. Oh, you poor, naive soul.
let me tell you a story. A perfectly respectable businessman wants to bring his, well, business into this fine city. And what do? They talk some absolute horse bollocks about papers and correct filing procedures and threw me in this slum. I should be loins deep in Sharess's caress by now, not waddling about in filth.
Okay. So, again, more indication that they are not letting people in to the city here. And we're going to have to find a way in on our own.
We've got to get Grunch into the city, but he's in no shape to travel. I wonder, what if we hit him in a big barrel and nailed it shut? Nah.
Don't know how we're gonna get Grunch into the city, wounded as he is, but we have to.
Okay, and Grunch is over here.
Whatever you need, I can't help you. Even talking is painful right now.
Actually, I'm going to leave.
What's next?
Do this with Shadowheart.
I'd better do the talking.
Whatever you need, I can't help you. Even talking is painful right now.
Okay, so we have a medicine check here. We're going to have advantage because she's a cleric.
After a quick examination, you conclude that your patient is pretending to be wounded. You wonder why.
Really? This isn't necessary. I'm sure there are other people that need your help more urgently. Shh, not so loud. If those lads find out I'm faking, they might go off on their own. They're not ready for that. And frankly, I'd miss them. I don't really have any other friends. And I like those lads. So I think I'll stick around a while more.
Okay.
Looking ahead.
So, Grunch is obviously hiding something there.
Wonder if the gods are watching me. Seems like a good moment to talk.
Can't stand her, can't stand her, can't stand her! My sister-in-law. All law and no sister. Grr.
Actually got here safely. Towing along my wife's sister and mother. Or maybe they towed me along, eh?
God, camping with the mother-in-law has been utter hell. Maybe I should just go on ahead into the city without her. Scouting, like.
My son Garen is pleased we got this far together. But his wife's bitching is making me old before my time. Why can't he tell her to put a sock in it?
So, family troubles. And Umi is over here.
They got me signed up to learn to make pots, which is dumb. I'd rather learn how to kill cultists. And I bet you'd back me up on that. I'm really worried about Umi.
So, you survived. That's more than many of my kin can say. It's mainly anger that keeps me going. Zevlor was supposed to lead us, but he froze when we needed him most. I haven't seen him since the massacre on the road, which is lucky for him.
Bex died. Bex is dead. I'm alive, but for what? I'm no one without Bex.
And again, these conversations are going to play out differently depending upon what happened to the Last Light Inn and the tieflings there. And there might be other people here, more tieflings that you had rescued. if you actually did that.
Washing my pits, this is the song when up. Aye! Could a bloke not get any bleeding privacy around here? Bunch of perverts, the lot of you.
I do love the interactions that you can have around here. Okay, so before we have an interaction with Toad Breath here, we're going to go talk to Fist Rowan.
Hail, friend. Fine day, isn't it? Forgive me, you're in no mood to talk about the weather. Your journey here was a hard one, no doubt. Is this your first time in Baldur's Gate? It's a fine city, isn't it? No better place to hail from. Used to be you'd arrive knowing you'd a full belly and a warm bed waiting for you. Not anymore. These days, there's barely enough to go around. Add the refugees on top and, well, folk aren't feeling too generous. Tensions. That's putting it mildly. Some well-to-dos in the city donated enough to see the newcomers right for the time being. Only they didn't bother helping everyone else. Locals going without while strangers feast. It stoked the fire, all right. Some Baldurians are kicking up a fuss round the front of the barn as we speak. If I wasn't wearing this uniform, I'd walk round there and teach them a lesson they'd never forget. What peace. If no one steps in, there'll be bodies piled high in the streets before long. Those refugees have been leeching on our city for too long. If we don't show them that we mean business, they'll bleed us dry. We need to march round the front and kill every last one of them. Let's see them eat our food with their guts on the floor. What do you say? Tell them! I'll cut out their eyes and make them watch.
So, you're the lick-spittle who crushed the Bone Lord's thrall. Have you come begging, sniffing for our stones? Gortash won't like that. A throat his black hand can't choke the spit from. You'll need to bleed and carve this city if you want to turn him to grave meat. He shivers at the thought. When you find the Lordling, tell him Orin is watching.
Ooh, she's going to get hers.
How long has she been watching? Keep a blade close.
Okay, now that Orin is gone, you can go up here and you can pickpocket Toad Breath. He's got a key on him. So our target is a -4. Okay, so we picked it up, and that key works in the traveler's chest here. And you can read the note to him. So he tried to get in to Baldur's Gate. They wouldn't let him. And said that they'll house his valuables once he reaches the city. Well, we can take those valuables here.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
What? I'm bushed. I ran for days to get someplace safe, and then found out I'm last in line to get in, because I'm a hobgoblin. As if I could change that.
Okay.
These have seen everything.
So we're finished up on this side. This doorway takes us back into the Requisition barn. Okay, and now we have another way to head up here. And we have some dead chickens that we can search, and they do have some eggs. Sometimes. Not every time. We do have some camp supplies here.
You remember that spiced apple loaf?
If you're here to fill an empty stomach, look elsewhere. Folks swarmed what little was odd, stuffing their pockets. Bloody animals.
Okay, and everybody here is going to say the same thing.
We got here first, friend. You're welcome to whatever scraps we leave behind.
Okay, so obviously some unrest happening here in the city with refugees trying to look out for themselves, obviously, and their families.
Tend not to.
They just lined up and taking their fair share. This could go in any for everyone.
If won't get us fed and watered.
More crafting supplies there, and we can head out this side.
Look at that! Finest pie that fruit could have made.
You remember that spiced apple loaf we had in
Okay, there's the dirt mound. Okay, a potion of speed is amazing. You definitely want to stockpile those up. Okay, and then down here, you can see that we have some Gur. This is the Gur Camp. Now, in here, Astarion killed Gandrel in this playthrough. So we're going to come back here. We're going to drop Astarion off of the party here. You're going to get an autosave before you come in here.
Very well.
Rechtei hathran rust. Frey valdisk durovna. Frey vald iskablast.
You've clearly walked into some kind of ceremony, but it's nothing that you recognize.
Im orak nete grasin netra.
I do not know if showing your face here is brave or stupid, given the company you keep. Do you even know the sins of the one you travel with? The one you protect? You have traveled with Astarion, a spawn sired and raised by the vampire Cazador. The same Astarion that came in the night with his wretched siblings and stole away my tribe's children. The same Astarion who killed our kin Gandrel and left him to rot in a hag's swamp. His crimes against my people are legion. His name is cursed on our lips. But, even so, there are others whose crimes are greater. I would make peace with your Astarion. I would forgive him his sins, if we can reach an accord. The children of my tribe were taken from us, stolen in the night, and brought to Cazador's palace by your friend and his siblings. We tried to save them, but his palace was too well defended. We were not able to save our children. But perhaps one of his own, your Astarion, could enter safely, destroy Cazador, and save them. My thanks. I only pray his anger at his old master burns as brightly as ours. May the gods keep you, and damn your enemies.
Okay, so at this point they know that Astarion is with us. Okay? And they're angry about it, but not angry enough to put all these things aside for the greater good. Okay?
So we should do nothing. Just wait for the next wave.
What are you doing? You and the Spawn should be at the palace, not here.
You do not decide where I should be. Not now, not ever.
You pledged to help us. Have you so quickly gone back on your word?
This is going to give you an opportunity to back out of this whole thing. You're going to get into a fight with the Gur here.
Thank you. Now please go. We have lost enough time already.
But you can see how...
Do not stand here and wait. Cazador must be destroyed.
But you can see how intense things can get if Astarion is in your group with you while you go through this.
It is only right to warn.
So we may shed blood tomorrow.
Okay, so we're going to continue on, and looking at our map, you can see we've got this whole center area to open up, so we're going to kind of head back this way. You can talk to the people here, but they're just having a picnic and they don't want you to disturb them. We're going to make our way up here to this area. We have an abandoned windmill up here.
There is work to do.
Still breathing, despite everything.
Okay, we're getting more earthquakes.
Light on my feet.
And now we'll head up here, and you can see you can interact with the haystack. Now your chances of passing this are very, very low. This is a DC 25 check. I rolled a 19 with my Paladin, and that wasn't enough, obviously. We have the highest chance for success with Gale. Okay, but he failed. So, the only thing you get out of this is a single acid arrow. I have no idea why the DC on that thing is so high.
Waste a step.
When all you get is a single arrow of acid. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But that's all you get out of it. So, don't be too worried about it.
Watch your bag. Oh, for a skeleton key.
Got a long road ahead.
Okay, so inside the windmill here, you have some searching you can do. And you have a hatch down here in the bottom. Now I'm going to go into hiding here. Drop down the hatch. And you can see over here, we have a Mindflayer that is brain-starved and sleeping. brain starved, its ability scores have been reduced by 10 while racked with a ravening hunger for brain matter. So it's pretty debilitated here. And it's going to be looking for something from us.
Secrecy above all.
So what I'm going to do is move everybody over here out of the direct line of sight.
Nice and quiet now.
And okay, yeah, let's go in with Astarion here.
Before you lies the unconscious body of a Mindflayer, glistening and raw.
A newborn. Unattended. How fortunate. Oh, but it is. This one has only just transformed. It is weak, vulnerable. Its potential ripe for harvesting. Go on. Kill it. Absorb its power.
Now you can attack before it wakes up, or you can wake it.
Come no closer, you. You. What are you? What am I sensing? You are like me. Like I was. A vessel yet to transform. Help me. I am so hungry.
Okay, now there are two ways you can play this out. You can find out what the Mindflayer needs. What it needs is brains. That's straight up simple what it needs. To get brains, you're going to have to give it a dead body. Now, if you decide to side with it, it's going to send you on a quest to go find a dead body from somewhere, and there are a couple of places where you can find dead bodies from. Or you can, of course, create your own dead body from somebody, and give the brain to it. Now, in that case, it's going to reward you by upping your tadpole number by 1. You're also going to get a ring from it. However, you can get the exact same rewards by not helping it. If you do help it, you're going to encounter it later inside the city, and it will have killed a couple of people when you find it. So we're just going to avoid that by taking care of it now.
You would betray us? Then you shall be our very first meal.
Okay, and Astarion goes first. So all of his Dread Ambusher stuff is, or all of his assassin stuff is now proccing. Might as well get him the happy trait. Oh, not because it's not humanoid. Right, it's an aberration, so it's not going to work. But now we have him facing that way towards Astarion, so we can sneak around the back.
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
And end things
The
off.
creature was born recently. Its mind is still fresh. You can absorb its potential if you consume it.
Now we're at 15. You can see in here you're going to pick up the Ring of Truthfulness. So you gain an advantage on insight checks, which can be very, very useful. Our insight checks are wisdom based, but being able to give us advantage on those checks is going to be very, very useful. So if you are not in combat, this can be another one of those items that you equip while you're wandering around to help you with those passive checks that happen completely in the background outside of your control. You also have a Mindflayer brain here. You can consume this, and that will up you to 16. So you get the same exact reward out of it. So the windmill key we don't need anymore because we've gotten ourselves in here. The Absolute's orders talk about the fact that this used to be a true soul. They said their time has come. The Absolute calls to all faithful. Leave your barracks, leave your armor, leave everything behind, and you will be transformed. And then the last thing you're going to get is a random jewel of some type.
Can't afford to stay idle.
So now you can search. And again, you're going to find a lot of camp supplies down here. There's a final warning. This is about the fact that the miller fell into debt and couldn't pay it off, and that's why this is now abandoned.
No time to waste. Thoroughly pilfered already.
Whoops, don't need the bucket. Okay, so looks like we're getting unlucky. We got unlucky with the camp supplies, and most of them are all rotten.
No one's stopped me yet.
Okay, and now we are done down here.
On my way.
There's nothing else over here with this little nub coming out or anything like that. We can head back up and out. Okay, and we still have this area here to go take a look at. So we're going to head straight down. And here's a dirt mound. A jacinth, a lot of gold.
Quite a spot, eh? Knocks the breath out of me to get up here. But the views are worth it.
Okay, and now you can see that we have another dead chicken and another earthquake.
It's the Elder Brain. There's something happening to it.
Don't mind if I do.
And we can continue on down the pathways here. And you can see that there's a whole pathway down here. Toward the beach area. And now we're going to run into this building here. And for this, you want to prepare for this. There are 2 rings that you probably have. First one is here. The Ring of Geniality is going to give you Deception +1. And it's like I don't have the second one on me. Let's see what I have as far as the amulets go. Okay, let's check my camp chest here. Okay, there's Fairzu's Ring of Trading. That's another Deception +1. And now look at your character sheets and see who you have the highest deception check. So it's definitely me with +7 right now. That's +5 from charisma and +2 from each of those checks, or from each of those rings that I've got. You're going to need to make persuasion as well as why is Scratch not available?
I can keep going a little longer now.
Okay. You're going to need to make persuasion and deception checks, and those checks are going to be pretty high level when you go in here. So make sure that you've gotten those buffed up to... Oh, and I passed that check without even thinking about it. Okay, I did pass that check. There's a Sword Coast Courier's key back here. It takes a perception check to find it. It's a DC 15 to find it. But this key is kind of hidden back in here. And you can pick it up. Because this is Sword Coast Couriers. And remember, when we found Scratch, Scratch was next to a dead man carrying a bunch of letters. We're going to deal with the well here in a second.
When will I get those strange dogs again, Miss Marcia?
Woof! A charming effort, but you can't fool me. You're not a dog. So what the hell are you doing in my kennels? Oh, gods. Unless you want me to shove you in one of these cages, stop barking and start speaking. It's fine. I have a very robust sense of humor. What do you want? It's the only way to teach him. He behaves worse than the dogs and makes more of a mess.
Scratch! Oh, it's good to see you, boy!
Shut up, Dringo, and get back to work. And you've been slacking as well, Scratch, my boy. This dog is property of Sword Coast Couriers. I'll take him off your hands now. I can do whatever I please. He's my dog. Now get out. This is a private yard.
Okay, so here we have some options. So we have a persuasion option here, and we have an intimidation option. The persuasion option here is going to benefit from favorable beginnings for us to help us pass that check the first time, but then favorable beginnings is going to go away. It only works the first time that you do a check with somebody on your dialogue with them. We also have a Paladin option here, where things can go a little bit different way but end up back in the same place. So I'm going to make a persuasion check here. This is a DC 18. Now again, we're going to have some options to deal with these a little bit later. Eagle Splendor is going to give me advantage on charisma checks. I'm not going to use it now because we got a total bonus of 14 right now. And we tried to fail it.
I'm not surprised. Gunwick always indulged him. And he's got a spark in his eye I don't like. Looks lively. Take the useless mutt if you're so inclined. I'll have nothing more to do with him.
It's not just Scratch. She's always hurting the dogs.
Shut your mouth, Dringo. Last warning.
Okay, and now you have your deception check here to make. So you can make an intimidation check as well from this. The intimidation check is higher than the deception check is. This is a 20 DC. We've got 8 to 11 right now. So I'm going to add in advantage here from Eagle Splendor and try and roll a 13. Okay, we failed once. We do have some more rolls available to us here with our inspirations. There we go.
Fine. You think you can do a better job without me? Be my guest. They're a useless bunch of mongrels. You're welcome to them.
And now, Dringo.
You got rid of her. I'll do a better job looking after these dogs than she ever did. I promise.
Now, Dringo is going to release the other cages and let the other dogs out.
Thank you for making Mistress go away. She was horrid.
Mistress is gone. Mistress is gone. I mean, such terrible news. She will be missed.
Okay, so we've done our good deed for the day here, is basically what has happened with this. Now we can continue on inside of Sword Coast Couriers. And talk to Danzo here.
Something to say. Welcome to Sword Coast Couriers. To send and to serve. Delivery not guaranteed. Well, we've had to change the policy. Hard to send letters by road when there's a rampaging army of fanatics bearing down on you. I'll tell you, it's left me in a right pickle. I've sent what I can by pigeon, but now something's attacking them and all. Become a postmaster, Danzo. It'll be easy. Nobody mentions having to spend your evenings hunting for pigeon carcasses, do they?
You sense there's more to his anxiety than a few missing letters.
And see, these are the insight checks that I'm talking about.
Oh, well, one of the missing letters is my own correspondence. A personal matter, nothing serious. But you can understand if people think I can't even deliver my own letters, I'd be finished. Not the foggiest. Normally they fly true as an elven arrow. Something nearby is snatching them, I can tell you that much. You do that? Well, if it's not too much bother, yes, I'd appreciate the help. Bring me the letter, unopened, of course, and I'll happily compensate you for your troubles.
Okay, and this is going to give us the Find the Missing Letters quest here. So Orin, again, we found out that she's a shape changer. We've got the devilish ox in our pocket as an apple, and the Gur told us to go find Cazador, which we are certainly going to do. And I want to swap that out for advantage on those insight checks. And now you can see that there's a quest marker here for something above us. You can see we've got some pigeons here.
A little wet under the wing for our unit. The commander will soon straighten you out.
I've no need of a wing man. Commander Lightfeather will give you your briefing.
Name and rank! Quickly now! There's a war on! At ease! At ease! I am Commander Lightfeather, leader of the finest aerial communication regiment this side of the Chianza. State your purpose, ground walker. I don't have all day. Damned awful business. Fine flyers, a lot of them. Gone without a trace. Intelligence is in short supply, but we know our enemies flanked us on the west side, not one rooftop away. We're avoiding the whole area. I won't lose one more beak to the blighter. If you pass that way, beware the sign of the featherless wings. From that rooftop, none return.
Okay, so we do get an inspiration back here for the Outlander trait. And we do have some letters up here that you can read that have been dropped off. They're going to give you some more information about the city itself, but there's nothing else that really progresses the quest or anything. But they did tell us that this was one rooftop away to the west. And you can see that that quest marker has now moved over here to the roof of something called the Open Hand Temple. And we are definitely going to be making our way over there. But let's exit out the back here. Okay, and we can head back up this way around the back here. Going to be some citizens walking around, and we can make our way, not there, here. You see, we have a cave entrance here. You don't have to pass the survival check to know it's there. That just highlights it in case you missed it. We're actually going to come back to that.
Can't afford to stay idle.
What now?
We're going to continue to make our way down here. And the Corvid token. And there's a heavy chest over here. Now you can continue to make your way up here and make your way into Worm's Crossing. Worm's Crossing is the bridge here. Now you can see that there's an automaton here, which is one of the Steel Watch, and some flaming fists that are guarding the entrance here. So this back way here is a way to get into the city, bypassing the main gate requirements, so to speak.
One day I'll catch a break.
What's next, I wonder?
Another step forward.
And there are going to be some crafting supplies that I was not paying attention to pick up. Okay, and then we find a dead refugee. Now again, this dead refugee's body is one of the bodies that you can utilize to give to the Mindflayer. So there are dead refugee bodies strewn around in a couple of different locations, and this is one of them.
Whatever comes, I'm ready.
So hate to think what happened to him down here at the base of this. It got chucked off the bridge or something like that.
Can't slow down.
Okay, and there's a successful check for the dirt mount. Then while we still have some turns on guidance, we're going to make our way down here. Whoop. Stop. Okay. Somebody passed it. And the second dirt mound is here. Greater invisibility scroll. That's really good. And we should be able to find some camp supplies down here.
What's hiding here?
More crafting supplies. We can start to make our way down here under the bridge.
More for me.
Okay, now we're going to
Wonder what the next move is.
go up here with Shadowheart. You can see that there's a cave mouth back here, but we can't get to it. You need somebody with a decent strength to be able to move these boulders out of the way to get to the remaining things that are here, and now you can enter this cave mouth. We're not going to do that yet. Well, you know, actually, I can do that.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Can't give up now. Wonder if the gods are watching me.
Okay, and we enter into this area here, and you see that there's a group of people up here. Okay, we're going to go into hiding.
Maybe I need more pockets.
I'm going to break our group, and we're going to go up here with Astarion. And we're going to watch the detection cones. This person right here, Zom, is who you're interested in. And you're going to wait for them to turn around. Kind of take a note of where the detection cone is. Just like that.
That's curious.
Okay, and now we're going to kind of make our way over here a little bit. We're going to end up making our way over here. We're going to watch the detection cones again.
Keep an eye out, brethren. It must be here.
We're approaching this backward from the way it wants us to do this. Okay, so we're going to be a little patient because, again, Zom is the one who's going to throw a kink in things right there. So you can see that this spot right here is clear. So we're going to wait for them to turn around again, and we're going to click up here.
He spends too much time with his prey.
I can move up a little bit.
Is an artist. You do well to think on that.
Just have patience. There you go.
What now, sir? Check his place.
Okay, and now that we're here, we can listen to them a little bit. The more you listen to them, the more you're going to realize they are bad people. You see, there are dead bodies strewn all around down here.
Keep an eye out, brethren. It must be here somewhere.
Okay? They have killed all of these people. You can see that they're also wearing face masks type things, so trust me when I say they're bad people. Okay? So we are going to initiate a ranged attack here and start this off. Okay, and we're going to do it against Rudd.
Sharper one than Dolo. He spends too much time with his prey.
Okay. Now they are going to be surprised. And remember what that does for us. Because any enemy who is surprised, we are going to be able to score a critical hit against. Okay? So we have enough movement to get us up here to hit Rudd again. But remember, all of our action economy has reset. So we have our action, bonus action, and our Dread Ambusher. So what we would prefer to do instead here is to kind of move ourselves down here toward these two so that we can maximize our sneak attack damage potential. And to do that, I'm going to cunning action dash. So I'm going to use my bonus action to get down here behind Muzz.
Well, someone fancies themselves an artist.
Aww. So I'm going to use my last attacks against Zom here. These are all crits. I don't need to make them crits. Okay. So you can see Astarion did all of that damage on his turn. They are surprised now, so they're not going to get to go. Oh, didn't need to miss an 80%er. Okay, so I was expecting to be able to kill Zom here. Still didn't get the kill. Okay. Because Zom's detection cone is the one that's messing this up. Here. So I wasn't able to kill her. I got shorted by a couple of hit points on them both. Which I didn't want to have happen. So we're going to move everybody up and see where they fall in the initiative order here. Because they're going to get seen. Okay, so rolled at the end of initiative there.
That way.
Let's see. With Gale. Okay, so where are we now? So I do have, I can get rid of, I can hit them both. So let's try and get rid of Zom here, because actually I'm not entirely sure if that's Zom's detection cone or if this is Rudd's detection cone now. Nope, can't hit with that. Target's too far. He's just barely out of range, though. Perfect.
Whatever comes, I'm ready.
Okay, so now let's see where that detection cone is. So see, that's where things kind of went wrong, is I should have Misty stepped up there and taken them both out first. Okay, so now from here. One hit point. You're killing me, Smalls.
Let's move.
Okay, he was still on fire. Alright. So, a little bit sloppier. That's the type of stuff that ends up costing you.
Let's get on with it.
But it worked out this time. So there are some Oathbreaker Knight boots down here. there's nothing special about them other than the appearance. They give you athletics +1, which is okay, but they're not anything, quest related or specific or anything like that. So
Got to press on.
don't think that just because they're labeled Oathbreaker Knight something that they're going to be special in some way. Okay, so Muzz has Crawler Mucus, which is a poison that you can put on your weapon to paralyze somebody and poison them for 10 turns. Crawler Mucus is just awesome. You can read the note here, and you can see that their aspirant Dolor, they're looking for a dagger that he discarded within these caves somewhere. Okay. And here you have a clown's severed torso, which is a quest item. And you can see that Orin is involved in all of this.
Body parts on display. Not sure the children will care for that.
Okay, we found a cruel and deliberately staged murder scene. It could be the work of Orin. And picking up that note gave us the Open Hand Temple Murders quest. Okay, well actually when we killed Muzz, it gave us this because we found out that he's a doppelganger. You can see he's changed. We'll go up there here in a second and look at him. Zom has the Flowery Key, which is again a quest item, which you're going to need. And that's going to advance the Open Hand Temple quest line. We found a Flowery Key. We should find out what it unlocks. Now we'll go up here and search Rudd. Two arrows of Roaring Thunder. Very, very good to have. And now you can see the quest marker here. It's got an area to search. Okay. So if you make your way over here, there's a hole in the ground. And this has the Stillmaker in it. The Stillmaker is a dagger, which means it's light finesse and can be thrown. It does an additional 1d4 necrotic damage, which is nice. And it allows you to cast Hold Person as a spell once per long rest. Okay, and again, that's going to advance the Open Hand Temple Murders quest. So we discovered a key and a bloody dagger. We should speak to someone upstairs at the Open Hand Temple. They might know what's going on.
Never a dull moment.
All right, so now let's do some exploring here through this underground area here before we move on. Oh, I ate it instead of picking it up. There's some shabby wooden doors here, which you can see past. It's going to lead you into this area.
No time to dally.
You can do some searching in here. Okay, bunch of camp supplies. Some more clothing. More camp supplies.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting
Just
times.
keeping all the crafting supplies in one spot.
What might you be hiding?
Okay, just a few more things inside this room here, including some more camp supplies. Okay. And you have this passage which leads you around this way. However,
Must keep going.
don't forget that there's this passage here.
Let's move. Can't slow down.
It's got a heavy chest in it. And a viridian crystal. You can see it leads you into this room here. We're going to be making our way into that room here in just a second. There's no need for us to come in the back way. Okay, this takes you up here onto the top where we had our encounter with Rudd. So we're making our way around the outside of this.
There's no time to waste.
You can see that there's a blood trail here.
Worth a rummage?
Okay, some more rotten food and some clothes.
This way.
Okay, and now you can see that we have this area here. You can see it's on our path, but if you hold your mouse over it, it says Cloud Kill. Okay? Now, normal things that should work here, I will tell you they don't. So, Gust of Wind, or something like that as a spell, is supposed to clear cloud areas, but it doesn't, and there's a very specific reason that it doesn't. So what we're going to do is go into our potions. And we're going to look for an elixir of poison resistance, and we're going to have Astarion take it. Okay, now before he goes down there, we're going to have him cast guidance on himself. He doesn't have to cast guidance on himself because of the elixir of poison resistance. We're going to have him walk into the cloud kill. Okay, and you're going to see that there are vents down here, and this is why Gust of Wind doesn't work. Because the vents are going to constantly renew the cloud kill down here, regardless of whether you get a spell to blow it away or not. Right? So, making your way this way, this is where we came in. Right here. Okay, so you can actually, if you get Enhanced Leap, and your strength is high enough, jump your way up here and make your way around behind everybody. It's just not worth it with the cloud kill here. Now, you can disarm these vents. But you don't need to. This chest is the only thing in here, and disarming these vents, it's a really high DC. It's a 30 DC to try and disable these. It's just not worth it when the only thing that's in here is a pathway, which we don't need anymore, and a chest that we were just able to loot.
Looking ahead. Very well.
Okay, there's nothing out this way. It's all chasm.
Open up.
Now we can make our way into this room here.
Looks like these people were trying to hide in the tunnels here.
They were. They were trying to hide down here, and unfortunately, they ran into some really bad people. And you can read about these. These tieflings, you know, they were rescued from the prison under Moonrise. Okay. So we've got a pouch in here. Nothing. Half-eaten apple. Melkor is dead as well. Okay, some decent potions. Okay, and that's about it. Okay, so now looking at this map, you can see that we looked at this area. This is, you could jump across the back way into this area. We know that this has taken us back to the surface. This has our main quest markers in it. We're going to head back across over to this area here. And we'll do some last searching before we head into that door up there. Okay, here on the wall is a lever. And that will get you into this room here. Alright. Now there's a few things that we can do here, so let's quickly go around and
blades always sharp.
do some searching in here. Okay, this door here. Don't worry about that. This door here takes you into this storage room. The perception check that we just passed for the heraldic sign is what allows you to open that door from the other way. There are two buttons that you have to find, that you have to perceive, which will open that door for you if you're coming down here that way. We're approaching this, like I said earlier, from the reverse. So you don't have to worry about them. Now here you do have some items that you can pick up off the shelf here.
Might as well take a look.
Okay, and the last bit of searching is here. Now, into this room, you're going to see that the main thing in here is a ladder that takes you up. That ladder is going to lead you up to where we need to go as part of the Open Hand Temple quest that we've been working on. Solving the murders up. Okay, we don't need to go up there yet. We're going to go across here. Some crafting supplies.
Still alive, so that's progress. What's in here?
And again, there's another heraldic sign there. There's your perception check for it. So there's one there and one there. You have to hit them both, and that will open up this back area here.
What path lies before me?
Now we have another door, and this is into that room that we just saw. Okay. There's always some good scrolls in here, and I completely forgot about that. I'm glad that somebody found it. And we want Astarion to disarm this. It's a high DC, a DC of 20. We're going to add in guidance here. Hey Chibi, welcome. No worries, you can always pick up what you missed on the VOD. It'll go live here in a little bit. And now you can lockpick it.
A crooked touch.
And again, a high DC on the lockpick. And I failed it. But I got plenty of lockpicks. Okay, and inside here you're going to get a random set of potions. Okay, now on this,
excellent choice.
You can search the books here. Then on this bookshelf, if you hold left alt, there are some books. There's also a couple of scrolls in here that are normally high level. An arcane lock would have come in very useful a little bit ago.
No one back home will ever believe this.
When I was walking around in the house, because then I could have locked the door to the kitchen behind me so that the little kid wouldn't have been able to come back in. Okay, so I'm going to put everybody in hiding here. I'm going to change everybody's equipment back out. Okay, and Astarion. Oh no, he gets Killer Sweetheart. And the Surgeon's Subjugation Amulet. Here. And then... now I can't remember what I normally equip. Oh, yes. Who gets the Eversight ring? That... is that Gale that gets the Eversight ring? Or is it Astarion that gets the Eversight ring? Now I can't remember. Oh yeah, the caustic band with malefic excretion goes on one of these two. So I think that's it. I don't think I had Killer Sweetheart equipped. So yeah, it's on Astarion. Yeah, he just has dark vision. So Astarion, everybody else has. She's got the spear and devil sight. So yeah, that's who got it. Okay, so I'm gonna break the group again here, and
taking my time in the shadows.
I'm going to go in with me, even though I do not have the greatest. Actually, I don't have to. The way I'm gonna play this.
Bring it quiet. Move with care.
Yes, let's.
Okay, so you get into this room here, and there are 4 sarcophagi in here. And each one of them has a plaque that you can read.
Here lies Flintster Sunseeker, born 1400 DR, died 1456 DR. Here lies Satida Atana, born 1411 DR, died 1485 DR. Here lies Reloric Windbane, born 1399 DR, died 1486 DR.
Okay, and I don't think this matters. But I'm moving the Sentient Amulet over here to Astarion.
Here lies Sister Shira Clarwin, date of birth unknown, died 1491 DR.
Well, I found her. I wonder how the amulet will take the news.
Okay, now if you remember, right, this is the person that the Sentient Amulet was looking for.
Faithful to the crying god, long didst I wait, only to find thine empty flesh. Gone thou might be, alas. Honored Shira, her spirit hath fled, and her body but merely a husk. Swear I did to shed this foul mania and bestow it upon Shira. She was to endure, to suffer, as was her god Ilmata's wont. Who now shall bear the madness Shah has wrought on me, so I might no longer suffer? Oh, shall it be thou?
Okay, so there are a few different ways, or a couple of different ways you can play this out. So the first is you can take this madness upon yourself. And if you do that, you're going to have to pass 2 wisdom checks to try and avoid being taken over by the madness. And if you fail them, each time you fail it, it will be a permanent -1 to your wisdom. However, if you pass them both, you will gain the ability to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter once per long rest as an action without using a spell slot. So it gives you free Tashas 1 time per long rest. It's not really worth it, in my opinion, especially with the risks you're going to be taking, because it is a pretty high DC to pass them. You can also say, no, I don't want to inherit the curse. And this is going to turn him hostile. And he is going to summon the other 3 corpses here in the room to fight against you.
Oh, well, if laugh I must, let our alliance end on a lark.
Okay. Two of them should be far enough away that they can't reach me, except by dashing. I'll take 2 hits. Okay, so I took only 1 hit, and now it's my turn, and everybody is facing away from me. Right, which is exactly what I wanted.
Here comes now. Best step softly.
Because now I'm going to bring Shadowheart in here and drop Shar's Darkness on this whole thing. Because they are not immune to darkness. And our entire party is.
Can't waste any more time. Never wanted the easy path.
Now, these guys hit hard. They are possessed by the spirit of the Mad Monk, and that means basically that they're going to be doing additional psychic damage every time they hit. Or every time that he hits. I thought it was psychic damage, not necrotic damage. Maybe it is necrotic damage. Okay. Instead, but they are you can see that only one of them is possessed. This is the one that you want to focus on. The other 3 are controlled by Shira Clarwin here. So you want to focus him down as much as you can. Okay, and I don't know if Inquisitor's Might is going to bring me into combat. I think it probably will. So I'm going to get my first attack off here. Okay. Now Astarion can lash out against anybody he wants, but he should be able to reach Shira. He can. Okay, now that Shira's threatened, I'm getting sneak attack damage. Oh, I forgot to change out Astarion. That's why he's got the shield on. He's not able to use his bonus action here. This is going to be disadvantage, but I'm offsetting.
Knees are starting to ache. Onward.
And now we'll bring Gale just far enough in here to get into the darkness solidly, but not close enough to get disadvantage. And as soon as you clear him out, the other 3 drop.
Eternally cast then, my spirit be. No. Morning Lord, I call to thee, lend your forbearance. No. Eternally cast then.
Okay, so this is glitched.
No. Morning Lord, I call to thee, lend your forbearance. No.
And I think it did that because it was the new mechanic of trying to prioritize
Torturous fate by any measure.
the main character, but he was closest to Shadowheart, and it kind of messed it up.
Still breathing.
So,
despite everything.
we can put everybody back together. We can take a short rest here. And now if we look in our inventory, the Sentient Amulet has changed. First, you can see that we now have, it's now very rare. It's no longer rare. Still has the Shatter spell. We're no longer able to talk to the Sentient Amulet as a free action. But we also have Key Restoration as a class action, and this is the greater version. So using the spiritual energy of the amulet, you restore a number of key points equal to your martial arts die. And again, this is a monk-specific amulet. You also don't have to pass any of the wisdom checks when you wear it anymore, because the sentient monk is no longer in it. So this is like the default monk amulet to have. Again, we don't have a monk in our party, but this is the culmination of that quest, which should be now down here incomplete. Yes, help the spirit of the amulet. Okay. So we refused to take the madness on him, so he's now stuck with that madness himself. You can search the bodies here, and there's going to be some random stuff that you can pick up off of at least one of them. I don't think there's anything on the other three. Yeah, there's not.
Moving ahead.
Okay. So now you can see that we have cleared out this basement area here. Okay. So we're going to head back to Rivington. Okay, brings us back here to the start where we were. And you can see that we have cleared out this. We didn't look at this little area up here by the Gur Camp. I don't think there's anything in that, but we'll go look and see. So we're going to go over here, take a right around Arthur's. Take a left in front and continue on down here.
Chris, what are we gonna do in the city?
We'll open up this little section of the map that we hadn't seen. Okay, and continue straight on here to the Gur Camp. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember.
It is only right to mourn.
We shed tears today, so we may shed blood.
A long way to go still.
No time to rest.
Okay, so we'll move up here onto this top area. And we have some other items that we can pick up here.
If not over.
And some more crafting supplies. Okay, so I am encumbered. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to head around, and you see now we have 2 quest markers up here. Find the missing letters we had previously and solve the open hand temple murders. Both of these are in the temple of the open hand here. And that's why I wanted to go underneath first, because I had already been into Sword Coast to trigger the roof version of that quest, and this is going to let me solve both of them at once, basically. So we'll make our way back down. We're going to head around the outside of Sword Coast Couriers over here toward the bridge. Okay, and here's where we went down. Underneath Worm's Crossing.
Please, my son. He's only a boy. You must understand.
That'll make a great headline.
Can't let you in.
Aren't you? I knew there was a story here, and there you are, the hero of the hour, walking right up to me. The name's Lens, reporter with the Baldur's Mouth Gazette. Care to do a quick interview? You, of course. News travels fast in this city, and after your exploits, you're quite the celebrity. This interview will be our biggest issue yet. It won't take more than 2 moments of your time. If you play your cards right, this could make the cover. I just need some extra details. So, you've arrived at Baldur's Gate. What's brought you here at a time like this? You have? I thought our soon-to-be Lord Gortash had things in hand. Though, if anyone could help him, it would be you. You've got a knack for finding chinks in the Absolute's armor. My sources tell me you recently vanquished the fearsome General Ketheric Thorm. How did you manage that? So you were forced to kill him. What a tragic story. Unfortunately, Absolutists rarely seem interested in compromise. The cult's threat is far from extinguished. What's your plan of attack? Perhaps it could inspire some like-minded citizens to help your cause. You must have some strategy in mind.
He's asking a lot of questions here.
Don't worry. I already have everything I need.
Still rolling in the muck, I see. You think I can't sniff the secrets hidden in your pretty skull? What you seek, what you need. Gortash knows you are coming, knows you have the Bone Lord's stone. Do not let him hiss hot air into your worm-weakened brain. Remember, his throat spits lies, but my blade carves the truth. You will read it on your skin soon enough.
So another encounter with Orin. That will not be the last. There are, I believe, 4 people here that are all Orin in shape-shifted disguise. Philip, if you pass both wisdom checks, do you get the same amulet? No, you do not. That's what I said a little bit earlier. If you pass both wisdom checks, you only get the ability to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter as a spell without using a spell slot once per long rest. That's it. You do not get the amulet. So the amulet will lose its abilities. You can still cast Shatter with it, and it has lesser key restoration, but will never have the greater version of it, which is what's on there now. So always, by far the best option is to go into combat with him, because that's the only way to get the very rare version of that amulet. So I think that gets us a good point where we're going to save. What we're going to do next week here. That's correct. Yeah, there won't be. You only get negatives to wisdom if you fail the checks. What we're going to do next week is a couple of things. We have a couple of locations down here that we want to go look at before we get into the open hand temple. And we're going to have a meeting in here with an old acquaintance of ours, and it's going to play out a little differently because of what happened in Last Light Inn with us, I believe. So we're going to start out by going that way and dealing with a couple of things down here. There's also a vendor down here we can check in with. And then we are definitely going to go in and deal with the open hand temple here. And then after that, we're going to make our way here into this area, and we're going to deal with the circus. The circus is in town. We definitely want to go in there and take a look at a genie who is causing some problems for everybody, and pick up another legendary item while we're doing it. So next week's going to be a pretty eventful time for us to go through. So I hope to see you there. Reminder that we are going to be starting the honor mode playthrough on Wednesday, and we will be taking advantage of some of this monk stuff that we've been picking up throughout our playthrough, because we are going to have a monk in our party. It just will not be our main character. So I hope to see you all then. So as always, thank you all for being here. I can't say thank you enough for all the support that you give me here, because without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jerval saying until next time, fare thee well.
We've got enough mouths to feed. We don't need your kind.
Our